In 1972, Dundee was defined by what it was losing. The traditional jute mills that powered the local economy were rapidly closing. As the industrial noise came to a halt, a new generation of youth started looking for a different soundtrack. They turned away from traditional folk, developing a strong appetite for high-energy American R&B and soul. That same year, an 18-year-old drummer named Howard McLeod emigrated from Grenada to Dundee. He brought with him a rhythmic vocabulary built around the complex syncopation and polyrhythms of his Caribbean heritage. McLeod's arrival offered a specific technical bridge between the city's industrial past and the rhythmic demands of the burgeoning soul and funk scenes. Picture Howie sitting inside a cafe today, looking out the window. If we wind the clock back to the 1970s, a young girl in a pink dress walks by, while groups like the Average White Band are exploring a new, soulful Scottish sound. McLeod developed a Kit Plus approach. He expanded a standard acoustic drum set by adding auxiliary percussion, like bongos and congas, translating the melodic flow of a steel pan into a danceable funk format. He paired this setup with ghosting, playing very soft, subtle notes on the snare, before dropping a heavy emphasis on the first beat of the measure, known as the one. By 1975, he merged this Caribbean sound with local Dundee musicians to form the band Riccardo. They quickly moved from local stages to a residency at Ronnie Scott's in London, eventually landing multiple hits on the UK singles chart. By integrating the steel pan's melodic logic into a funk kit, McLeod provided the rhythmic engine that carried Dundee's music onto the national stage. Riccardo disbanded in 1981, right as the music industry embraced programmable drum machines. For traditional acoustic drummers, the rise of rigid electronic synthpop posed an immediate professional challenge. Outside our cafe window, the decade turns. The girl in pink is now a teenager, and acts like Michael Mara and Mafia are taking over the Dundee live circuit. McLeod adapted by stepping off the main stage and into Seagate Studios. He became a producer and foundational session musician for dozens of local recording projects. As those local bands experimented with the unpredictable sounds of street funk and pop, McLeod provided the anchor. His precise, organic timing kept their electronic experiments grounded. The window view shifts again into the 1990s. The woman passes by pushing a pram, sharing the street with independent post-punk musicians. Through all this turnover, Howie stepped out from the background rhythm section to lead his own experimental band, simply titled McLeod. He demonstrated that rhythmic mastery is an adaptable skeleton, capable of supporting the city's music regardless of shifting production trends. As the timeline enters the 2000s, the recording industry leaned heavily into purely digital production. Songs were increasingly built on perfectly quantized software loops. Looking out the cafe window to the present day, our character is now a woman in her 60s. The sidewalk is filled with modern indie rock acts like The View. McLeod responded to this hyper-digital landscape with an approach he called tungsten funk. The goal was to bridge the gap between the flawless digital grid and the raw feel of his 1970s acoustic kits. As we can see in this animated diagram, he takes a perfectly spaced, synthesized beat and lighters his live bongo tracks directly on top of it. Those slight variations restore a necessary human imperfection to the recording. Beyond the studio, he now serves as a community educator. He takes this philosophy of rhythm into Scottish prisons and youth workshops, using percussion as a tool for personal rehabilitation and cultural connection. Back inside the cafe, Howie observes the current streetscape, a landscape of modern traffic and digital storefronts that replace the mills and gray tenements of 1972. Generations and genres outside that window shifted, but the syncopated pulse McLeod brought from Grenada remained a constant thread